Welcome back into another edition of Football Friday. We're talking Lexington Sporting Club soccer. Tomorrow night, they're back home at Georgetown College's Toyota Stadium as they take on the Richmond Kickers. They owe the Kickers one. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the tailgate begins at 5. Gates open at 5:30. First touch at 7. LexSporting.com/tickets. Coach Sam Stockley and Tariq Muhammad are here with us after a huge 3-0 win last Saturday. What does that do? I know what it does for Coach. I know what it does in the standings and everything, but what does it do for you guys as players to not only win but have a convincing win like that?
Honestly, as players, it gives us all the belief to prove to ourselves that we can do this and that it is possible for us to go toe-to-toe with any team in this league and pull off wins. I feel like it was coming and everyone believed that it was coming, but to finally put it together was an unbelievable feeling.
You know, Stock, I'm going to try to get myself in trouble here because I only know enough to be dangerous. You talked about this system change, and what you were really doing is you were really pushing up, and it seemed like there were times when you got caught on the counter. You know, for the casual fan out there, that system change made a huge difference. What was it that you changed up?
So, you know, organisation-wise, we'd always defended in a 4-4-2. Right. This time round, we switched it to a 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, however you look at it. So, right. As you said, we want to be a really aggressive, expansive, possession-based team to excite the crowd, to get bums off seats, to try and score goals. You know, that's part of who we are and what we wanted to do. But as we grew and as we learned through the league, it's quite a transitional league, and a lot of, I would say, you know, the top 2-3 players in most teams are probably out in wide areas, and because of the way we rotated our fullbacks up high, sometimes it could leave us a little bit exposed, and we were always working on that. We was always trying to counteract that. We'd pulled the fullbacks in, we pulled our wide players in, and you know, and then we just felt that maybe having an extra body back there with a back three, and an extra body in midfield would just shore up that centre of the field, especially when we want to go and attack and create chances and counter-attack like we do. And you know, it worked for us with the personnel that we had, and that, you know, we've reflected on that over the last probably 16 games. As we said, you know, it's a new club with new players. We understand their attributes individually, but we were still getting to know relationships and partnerships and who work well with each other. Sure. And we wanted to go through that process. And you know, as we said, we've been looking at potentially this system change for maybe the past couple of weeks, and we just felt after Frago, you know, that result and a little bit lack of energy that we had there, that it was time to maybe go for a change. And as I said before, all credit to the players. And if I'm right, I think you had 6 new starters in that match before you made the change. Yeah, Frago, we changed personnel. We'd had players that had really been waiting, had been working really, really hard, and we'd had a group of players that we'd stuck by because we felt like we were trying to get the right sort of system moving and going. So, you know, it's real difficult. We're not a group. We're not a staff that knee-jerk reactions and just go mad and change it all. That's completely the opposite end of the spectrum of how we try to do things. We're very pragmatic. We're very detailed orientated, and you know, we make decisions based off data as well as what we see. And as I said, we spoke about a system change, and we just felt it was the right time, but it was down to the players. The players took it, they grabbed it, and they went with it, and they trusted us, and you know, they got their rewards.
Huge result. Tariq, from an emotional standpoint, how difficult is it for a player when you're going through these changes and everything? I mean, obviously, you're just not going to keep doing what you're doing if it doesn't work, but still, you know, just like Stock said, different combinations, things like that, and everybody wants to do their best.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult because you have to adapt like quickly. Every week is something new task, new information, and it's really, you have to be open and willing to be able to take the information and be willing to learn. Even if it's not something that you're used to, you still gotta adapt to what the coach wants from you. Sure.
You're out there in a position and you're looking at something, you're like, this isn't gonna work, and then he or one of the assistants say, listen, this would just do it. Let's see it through.
You have to put belief in the game plan, because there's been lots of times where sometimes the players question something, and then in the game, when it plays out in real time, you're like, wow, it's so much easier because I'm positioned in the right spot.
Did you think it was? Now, be honest now. Not that you would never be honest, but I mean, did you think it was going to work, and did you think it was going to work this well, this quickly?
Honestly, yes, I did, because I feel like this system fit the players that we have. Like, it suits our playing style and the way that we want to attack and defend. It even suits a player like me a lot, where I could see myself more attacking.
Sure.
I don't have to worry as much behind me because I have more protection. So honestly, for me, as a left back, it makes my job easier.
Sure. And then again, some of those balls that were going back over your head or something, you know, or some of those breaks that were going the other way, that other mid that's up there now that can protect really is kind of like a second line of defense,
Yeah,
right?
It is. It is. You can see, like, no teams can break us through the middle.
Sure.
Everything's got to come from the outside because we have so many numbers compact in the middle.
A couple of off the beaten path sort of things, Stock. So the other night we're watching USA and the Netherlands. It's Women's World Cup. But with that going on, that's going to help attract more new fans
100%.
To the sport as a whole, and certainly to what you all are doing.
100%. I think the Women's World Cup has been fantastic so far. You know, some real quality there. Really exciting for us having the Super League coming down in August next year. So I know that Michelle, our sporting director, and the team are already looking at that and trying to build their recruitment strategies and try to identify players coming out of the World Cup. So I think that shows you the vision that they have for this Super League team, that they're going after players that have been playing in the World Cup, which I think is amazing for the community. I think it's amazing for the female game and even the male game. You know, when you got quality players that have that experience, you know, coming from World Cups, as I said, to be able to be in and around your back garden or training near is good for everybody.
Oh my gosh, you got the one young lady from over at Racing Louisville, and then Lavelle, who had the assist on the corner, is from Cincinnati, and so, you know, people that are not only coming out to watch you, but people you're trying to attract to your club at the club level and at the top level, they can see, oh my gosh, it's like having a home run hitter right here in their backyard, right? Yeah. What do you think when you watch a match like that? Do you pick up things?
I think it's very inspirational, because when you're at the national level, you're playing for your country.
Right.
There's a lot more weight on your shoulders. It means so much more. It's a lot different than Champions League final, you know?
Sure.
Like, you're playing for what you've grown up for, the neighborhoods, the kids, and you're just inspiring everybody, a nation. So with that level of intensity, like, you just want to give it your all. You're going to go there, enjoy it while it happens, and give your everything that you have.
That's a great way to put it. Sock, I want to ask you a couple of final things. So people don't know, you were gone just a little bit last week to go get your son and bring him back here. How long have you been over here without your family?
Oh, that's a great question. This spell's been 18 months. I've had 3 spells of probably about nearly 2 years where I've come and gone without the families, with being over here, and they came over and then gone home, came over, come home. So yeah, you know, it's been tough. I've had total football to take my mind off it, but I probably haven't had that balance that I've needed, where I come home from training or after a game, especially whether it's a good one or maybe it's something you need to digest, and you don't have that distraction where now I've got my young boy here, my young one Joby's here now. I went home and got him, and he's here for 5 weeks, and my wife and my daughter come out at the end of August. Now I'm coming home and I'm cooking dinner, and he's making me go on a run, and he's playing pickleball with him, and I'm just getting a little bit of a distraction from it, and I think that's helping everything, and maybe the players see a bit of a difference in it as well. You know, I am quite intense, I'm very detailed in all of that, but now having another focus and a shift helps me tip my balance.
Do you notice a difference in him?
Yes.
I'm going to stop you right there before you go any further.
That's fine.
We do not want to impact your playing time at all. One final thing, Sock, is this is the 1-year anniversary of the floods that kind of devastated Eastern Kentucky. The other day we were down helping the folks at ARH, which is a major hospital down there. They were packing in. I think we've got some footage, but your guys were down there as well, and you've done watch parties and things like that, but you've been committed to getting involved in the community as well.
Yeah, it's a major, huge part of it. You know, it's everything that we want. Obviously, devastating times. I was living here when that all happened, you know, live, and now to be able to, you know, be part of a football club that's so big in the community, for them to be able to be out and help pack and move and be part of it. I know all the players, it's close to all of their hearts, that part of it, and you know how they can get out and obviously, you know, represent well and support in any way that they possibly can. So I'm just seeing the video here with all the players and staff coming in, and I think it's absolutely amazing. And the more that we can do, the more that we want to do. There's no question about that, and that comes from our ownership. You know, they're so involved and invested in it, and that was part of all of our recruitment with these guys. It had to be good people that understood what it meant as a first-time franchise of, yes, winning on the field 100%. But what we're creating off the field that will be a legacy for years and years to come, and we talk about that a lot.
And it was really neat to see like a world football team like you guys in there doing the same thing with an American football team, a high school team from here in Lexington with a coach who's got a lot of pro experience, and it was just great. I said one final thing. Okay, so I don't know what you would call what happened last time against Richmond, but it happened, and I'm sure everybody's looking for a little payback this time around.
Yeah, I think when we went down to Richmond, I think that we felt that we were in a very good position. We probably were a little bit lower in our intensity of where we wanted to be, and they're a good side at home. Sure. They're a good side, full stop. They like to move the ball, and again, you know, where we were in our system and trying to do, we got penned in a little bit at times, and you know, it'll be a different game tomorrow on Saturday, should I say, 100%, just because I feel the intensity and where we are from a emotional and confidence standpoint as well.
And now they haven't seen this new system except on tape, and they've got to figure out how they're going to try to defend it.
100%. Yeah, you know, that's our plan, is to take the game to them like we do in every game. That's always our game plan. It's about us, and we take it to them, and we play against quality sides, but you know, we're hoping that we can continue the momentum, because we feel like there's been a bit of a turning point and a bit of a switch.
Okay, so again, 5 o'clock is when the tailgate begins. Gates open at 5:30. First touch is at 7. Lexsporting.com. Tickets. Guys, best of luck to you. Look forward to a big crowd tomorrow night. Bring your fans, wear something cool, and let's get going. And we'll see you next time on Futbol Friday.